Here's another example of an application of trigonometry. Here I have a kite being flown at the end of a 120-foot string, and it has a 38-degree angle of inclination in relation to the ground. And first of all, we want to know how high the flight is, how high the kite is flying. So what we need here is another right triangle. So I'm going to draw on a few lines. First line I'll draw in will be the altitude. So let's put it in purple. That would be this line here. And the second line I'm going to draw in is going to be the horizontal. So we get this right triangle. And I'm kind of ignoring the height of this man, person, or kid, or whoever it is. Alright, and then that way we get this nice little right angle down here in the base. So now that we have a right triangle, we can talk about this angle of inclination. That usually means coming up off of the ground. So this angle over here has to be 38 degrees. And we know that the string is going to be 120 feet. Well, the string is what's attaches the person to the kite. So this side is 120 feet. And what we're looking for is the height of this kite. Well, that would be this side over here. So we're going to call the altitude here x. So the function that associates this angle, the x and the 120, well, this side is called opposite, and this side is called hypotenuse. So that would be a sine function. So we would set up sine of the 38 degrees is equal to opposite, which is x, over 120. And to solve for that, we just multiply both sides by 120 and get x equals 120 times sine of 38 degrees. And that approximately, let's see, 120 times sine of 38 is 73.9. So x is approximately equal to 73.9 feet. So the height of this kite off the ground is about 74 feet. Alright, the second part of the question is, if the kite fell straight down along this altitude, how far would you have to walk to retrieve it? So you'd have to move from this area, this location, to this location. So let's call that side y. And we want to find what y is equal to according to this angle and the hypotenuse of 120 feet. So the function that associates that, this side is called the adjacent side. And we're going to be looking at the adjacent and the hypotenuse and that angle, which would be a cosine function. So we would do cosine of that angle, 38 degrees, is equal to the y over 120 for the hypotenuse. And then we can solve for y, multiply both sides by 120 cosine of 38. And we can approximate the distance along the ground, approximate, as 120 times cosine of 38 degrees, about 94.6. So 94.6 feet of walking to get to the kite.